she was not giving in to the order. This caused more distress for the nun. After she revived numerous attempts to make her kneel, she began to repeat under her breath, Unga Mashikwazi, Unga Mashikwazi, until she found herself yelling proudly, Unga Mashikwazi, which translates to I am strong. Her behavior drew too much attention from the other children. Therefore, she was removed to the out of doors by 3 adults. She was beaten with a belt and locked in a wooden box. She recalled it being cold, and she was left there for 3 days with no food or water. From the eyes of the observer, she was punished even more severely. However, she felt she had won by standing up for herself and speaking aloud 1 word of her language. She was never put in the closet again. Unfortunately, for the following 7 years, the belt and the wooden box became the punishment of choice whenever she broke the rules. I learned much from my mother's boarding school experience, which includes to eat quietly and precisely, for the consequences of making any noise with your silver or plateware was to silently take mandatory leave from the table. To clean in such detail as to require toothbrushes, Q-tips, and toothpicks to remove the smallest particle of dirt, which was barely seen by the naked eye, and that it is normal and appropriate to hug little boys, but not little girls. I learned a different history than the children in the mainstream schools I attended. I learned the meaning of cruelty, betrayal, distrust, and the cost of many, many losses. I also learned survival skills, which include the importance of observation and analysis of situations, organization and detailed planning, perseverance and self-reliance, concern for the safety of others, and yes, most of all, protecting my spirit, Miigwech. Thank you.
Miigwech, Dr. Suzanne Cross from Michigan State University, San Chippewa. We have people that have came quite a long distance, not only from First Nations Canada, but all the way out on the west coast from Oregon, and we even have representatives here from the Carolinas. And I'm going to ask our sister Amy Walker to come forward and to go ahead and to share her experience right at home on boarding school experience. Amy Walker.
Good afternoon. I wasn't prepared to speak again, but I'm not sure what I will share, but I guess there's quite a few memories that I have about my mom and what she went to boarding school. We didn't, none of us children. My father went to boarding school here at Carlisle. We tried to find his name in the roster. We had people from Carlisle looking, but they never could find his name. He came from Rosebud, South Dakota. So we have even gone to Rosebud looking for his family, but we've never been able to find any of our family members from our dad's side. Our mom was Cherokee. My name, my Cherokee name is J.A. and I'm from the Deer Head. I was born in 1941, just before they bombed Pearl Harbor. And soon after that, they began rationing gas in North Carolina. So my mom and dad moved over to Tennessee. So my family, my brothers and sisters younger than me, 6 young ones, siblings, and there was one older brother than I. So the rest of my family was born in Tennessee, so we were raised among all non-Indians in Tennessee. And I came back to North Carolina after I was probably around 21 years old. couldn't find a job in Tennessee. But during that time, I began to hang out with people who drank. There was a lot of pain from my childhood since my dad died when I was 2 years old. My mom came home one day and said he was gone. She went about the business of burying him, but never did we ever get a chance to talk about our dad, how we felt about losing our dad, and that pain of losing my dad, and not even being able to talk about it or share. All those years, and I guess even to this day, we really haven't, as a family, sat down and talked about how we felt. And I was 10 years old, so that meant all of my younger brothers and sisters were even younger, and most of them don't even remember. And my baby sister was born 7 months after he passed. So it was about the business of living life daily that we all had to do. And I became my mother's helper in many ways in taking care of the younger children. And then I had my own child before 2 months after I turned 18. And so I became a mother. There wasn't much of a childhood for me. And my mother would use a belt to whip us with, or a switch. And I remember the last time she whipped me with a belt. I had bruises all over my body. I had a social worker saw me today with those bruises. I think there's one that had been removed from my body. But she would tell others that she didn't whip her children when she was angry because she could hurt her children. But we all, that's how we grew up, being physically whipped. Our mother didn't drink, but one of the things that she did share, or some of the things that she did share, was she would talk about her and her friend Donnie would run off from boarding school, and to hear her tell it, they would run for miles and miles and miles to go to someone's home to get away from boarding school, but she never ever said why that they ran off. But one of the things that I know in our later life is we learn how to hug each other and to say that we love one another. It was hard for her to accept us to hug her. She would just get really stiff and sit there and accept that hug. But you could tell it was very hard for her to accept her own children hugging. But we've had to learn how to hug our own children and tell our children that we love them. And I suppose that my children didn't hear me saying that until way after that they were pretty much grown, except my youngest one. I have 2 boys and 2 girls that was born to. And my 2 older boys were born first, and my mother and the midwife did live with my children at home because we didn't have the money to go to the hospital or see a doctor. So raising us, we had to eat a lot out of the woods, the wild greens, the berries, the other things that grew wild, nuts out of the woods to supplement our gardens, but we had to work in the garden. We would pick berries to sell in the summertime to raise money to buy maybe some pair of shoes or something to go to school. But we always had food to eat. And she was a strong woman, and I've heard her tell different people that the weakest one died so that the stronger one could take care of the children. So she considered herself a strong woman, that had she been the one to die, that our daddy wouldn't have been able to raise us. And maybe she was right, but she raised all of her children. And she's been gone about 20 years now, 21 years. She passed away at the age of 71.